Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. Appreciate you taking a few moments. If you want to follow along, we will be in the book of Genesis, Genesis chapter number 32, beginning in verse number 3. The Bible says, There Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau, his brother, in the land of Seir, the country of Edom, instructing them, Thus you shall say to my lord Esau, Thus says your servant Jacob, I have sojourned with Laban and stayed until now. I have oxen, donkeys, flocks, male servants, female servants. I have sent to tell my Lord in order that I might find favor in your sight. This is a piece of scripture that most of us can probably identify with. When we have circumstances in our life, we have situations that are tense. Maybe again, just like Jacob, but with someone, we've got some unresolved conflict. We've got tension or whatever, unforgiveness with a family member or somebody's been hurt, and that can be a real nerve-wracking situation that can really put a lot of pressure on us on how we're going to handle it. And you remember the story, just to kind of set the scene. Jacob had hoodooed his brother. Years before, he had deceived his father, his brother, stole his birthright and the blessing, and Esau's mad. I don't think there's much to figure out there. That's Esau threatened to kill him, and so Jacob has been gone now for minimum of 20 years, and now God has led Jacob to go back home, to return to his land. And what we have here in these verses is that moment when they are coming back together, and how Esau are going to handle it. And several things that we see in this story is, again, Jacob is being obedient. Jacob is doing what God has instructed him to do. But sometimes that's not for the weak at heart. This took courage. Following God sometimes it takes a lot of courage. When God calls someone to go to the mission field in a foreign country, or a lot of things God calls on us to do, you have to step up, and it takes courage. And don't know who's watching this morning. Maybe there's somebody you need to make up with, someone you need to mend some fences with, a conversation that you need to have, a relationship that needs some mending in your life. And it's not easy to do that. But what we see is them being humble makes it possible. Look what Jacob does. We talked about this. He calls Esau. He says he is my Lord. He refers to himself as his servant. As Jacob refers to himself as Esau's servant. So he comes to Esau in humility. Jacob is a changed man. The old man that had been a manipulator, a trickster, he has seen the light, as we say, and so he goes and basically he steps up and he makes the first apology. He goes and admits what he was doing, what he did, and that he wants to make things right. Notice that before this could happen, and I just said it, just touched on it just a second ago, Jacob had to change. God sometimes has to change us before he can change our circumstances. He has to remove bad habits. He has to humble take away ego, take away pride, take away greed, whatever it might be, change our attitude. God sometimes has to work on us to get us where He wants us to be, and to get us into new circumstances. He has to change us. Again, you can see how this could play out. So let's say Jacob hasn't changed. Jacob's still the same old deceiver, the same greedy, same tricky person that he had been in the past. Well, if he comes home and makes up with Esau, and Esau forgives him, and they get back together, well, it's only going to be a matter of time before they're in the same mess. So God had to work on Jacob. Some of the things we look at with the time Jacob spent with Laban and the deception there, all those things working together to make Jacob himself a different man. And these verses remind us here that again, that obedience takes courage. You can't. It's not easy. Sometimes it's not so bad, but other times it's difficult to follow God and to be obedient. God tells you, go and ask that person for forgiveness, and you're still a little mad. It can be hard. God tells you to go overseas on the mission field. It can be hard. Obedience takes courage, but then we have to humble ourselves. And I don't know how much you'd say here. Jacob humbled himself, or God humbled him. But either way, Jacob was a different man, and he was his heart was changed. He was a different person, and he goes in humility and grace to make this reconciliation possible. And so I just leave you with that thought today. What difficult thing is God calling on you to do? Well, what challenge is He putting in front of you? Maybe it is an old relationship that has been damaged. Maybe it is hurt feelings. Maybe it's something that maybe He's sending you next door to tell your neighbor about Jesus. Whatever it is, what is it God's sending you to do that obedience is hard? But the same God that took care of Jacob, the same God that took care of this situation, can work with you. And just as we've seen now in several things here in Jacob's story, you don't have to face the difficult moments alone. All right, you think about that. Have a great day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.